everyone, I'm Raakhi Rupani, Communications Coordinator for BNI here in the UAE. And today the chapter whom I have on Spotlight is BNI Evergreen. Now, BNI Evergreen chapter, they are celebrating their 4 years anniversary. And besides that, they've achieved a couple of other milestones as well. They've completed over 200 meetings. And since the start of their term in April, they've invited over 100 visitors. 100 visitors in the room. I mean, it's amazing to have them in that chapter. So let's get talking to the president, Amina, the vice president, Vinita, and the treasurer, Ruba. Hello, team Evergreen. How are you girls doing today?
Hi, Raakhi.
Hi, Raakhi. Hello.
Hi, Raakhi. Hope you're doing well too.
Good to have you all out here. And more than anything, congratulations on your 4-year anniversary.
Thank you.
And I don't know whether you all know this or not, but you guys have already completed over 200 meetings.
Wow.
Oh,
I didn't
wow.
know that. That's good.
And I think there must be a big chunk of those meetings which have happened online, right?
Of course.
I guess
Yes.
I guess 1/4 of them maybe.
True.
Yeah. So before we get started with the questions, let's start getting knowing each of you better. So let's get Amina first. And you can tell us about who you are, what category of business you represent, and also how long you've been a BNI member for. Yeah, just about a BNI journey in brief.
Sure. So yeah, my name is Amina and I'm a hypnotherapist. So I help clients with issues like anxiety, depression, panic attacks, quit smoking, lose weight, addictions, all those type of things. So I work with clients one-on-one on those issues, on removing them from their subconscious mind. And with BNI, I've been a part of BNI for 2 years and 2 months. And I'm currently the president of Evergreen. It's my first term on the leadership team, but prior to that, I was the education coordinator, and before that, I was the lead visitor host. So I've enjoyed lots of different roles in BNI, and it's great to have all the different perspectives of what it all entails behind the scenes.
Very interesting, Amina. May I also ask you what got you into BNI?
So it was my website designer. So he is a BNI member, and he invited me along. And so I went to that meeting, which was in a different chapter, and somebody there mentioned that there's a women only chapter, and I thought, well, let me check that out. And I came to Evergreen, and that very morning I got 2 new clients. They happened to be guests that morning at Evergreen, and they became my clients. And I thought, well, I've got new clients just by coming here this one time. This is obviously the chapter that I need to join, and the rest is history.
That seems very exciting. What about you, Vinita? How did you get started? Tell us about yourself and about your BNI journey.
So I'm Vinita, and I'm a jewelry designer and gemologist, and I'm also the founder and creative director of my award-winning concept jewelry brand, which goes by my own name, Vinita Michael. And we specialize in concept jewelry in 9-to-5 sterling silver and 18-karat gold. How I got into BNI. So I was invited to BNI by Priya Talavani, who was my client, and she was the president, and she's also one of the founding members of BNI Evergreen. So obviously, whenever I would speak to her, she would speak so passionately about Evergreen, as if like I'm really missing out on something if I have not attended it. So when I did visit it, she didn't disappoint me. It was something that really blew my mind. And that time, yes, it was an all women's chapter. And I was so impressed by the kind of women who were running the show, I would say. They were the kind of women I wanted to be associated with. I wanted to get to know them more. And I really felt it would benefit me, not only in terms of my business, but also in terms of my personal and networking growth. And that's how my journey with BNI started. I joined the very next meeting. The timing suited me perfectly because I'm also the primary caretaker of my 2 children. So I didn't have to miss out on, their school requirements. It just fitted perfectly in terms of everything.
That's amazing, Vinita. Thanks for sharing that. How about yourself, Ruba?
Well, my name is Ruba. I have a 3D printing startup or company now called 3D Nova. We provide 3D design and 3D printing services. I'm a design engineer by profession. I joined BNI through Tina. She's a friend. She's also my neighbor. She knew 3 years ago when I first joined BNI that I just started my company 3D Nova, and she saw how lost I am as a fresh new entrepreneur who was a full-time employee engineer before I started my business. So she said, why don't you come and join and meet like-minded people who will really help you in your journey? So I said, yes, definitely. My first meeting, I came very late. I got lost to the meeting. I still remember till now. And but it was very, very nice meeting. I didn't expect to see so many fresh new faces with so many different businesses. So I said, definitely, this is a group that I want to be part of. I think they will really support me in my journey. And this has been the case ever since. And it was an all women's chapter then. So yeah, that's how I started.
That's interesting, Ruba. And given that you have been the longest serving member, you've been the member of the chapter for over 3 years, you can be the right person to answer this question for us. And you all have mentioned rightly that it was the first ever women's chapter here in the world, actually, not just only UAE. Tell us what the 4-year journey has been like from the time you all started and how it has been so far for you. How would you rate it as, Ruba? What do you think?
The journey has been amazing. I mean, at the beginning when I first started it's very confusing to join BNI, and you don't understand all the things that you have to do, the referrals, the one-to-ones. But what throughout those years, what I learned is that if you make BNI part of your business, not an additional thing that you have to do, it becomes part of what you have to do to grow your business, is be a BNI member. And throughout the years, we have grown a lot. We've had so many new members come and leave, but we've grown so much. I've learned a lot. I don't think I'll be able to learn anything anywhere else, or with regards to business, I mean, anywhere else other than BNI. And our chapter has changed and grown a lot, especially in the past 2 years.
True. That's amazing. My next question would be for you, Vinita. What have your learnings been from the past, given that you again have been a member for over 2 years now? So what have your learnings been from the past? And I mean, how do you plan to take it forward?
I think I would say one of the learnings from the past is probably to focus on quality growth for the chapter, not just in terms of the chapter size, but also in the kind of referrals we're trying to pass to each other. So I would always say that the focus has to be on quality instead of quantity. That is one thing that I have learned in the past, and I hope that we will be taking it forward in the same line. They're actually very lucky to be in a very unique chapter. I think we are one of the most diverse chapters that we have, not just in terms of the geographical representation, but also in terms of the categories that each of us represent. And I think that's why we can truly showcase unity in diversity. And I think going forward also in terms of BNI, we want to focus on non-conflicting categories being taken in and truly being able to support each other in the best possible manner.
I mean, it's really very good to know about that, Vinita. Another thing which I was recently made aware of was that you recently achieved a milestone of inviting over 100 visitors. Now, this was from the start of your term, 100 visitors since April. I mean, tell us, how did you plan it? Any goals or strategies that were set in place by your team?
Yeah, absolutely. So at the beginning of our term, excuse me, we knew that our focus was to grow the chapter on quality growth, of course. And we said, okay, let's really go at it with the visitors. So we put in place a visitor competition. So we split the chapter into different teams. And we said that we would hold a 6-week competition, and whichever team brought in the most visitors in those 6 weeks would get a prize at the end of the term, and that at the end of the 6 weeks. And that prize was a lunch together at C'est La Vie restaurant, which is a nice restaurant in Dubai. And everybody really got enthusiastic about the, about the prize, about the teams, about bringing in a lot of visitors. So we really brought in a huge number of visitors. And it seems that something worked, because today in our meeting, which we just finished just now, we inducted 3 new members today. So so we're very happy about how we're growing, and yeah, we're going from strength to strength, I think.
I would say a healthy competition is really very, very good to keep the chapter engaged and the members going ahead and inviting more visitors. That's great. Congratulations on those 2 inductions. Tell us, what is the plan? 3 inductions. Wow, that is awesome. Awesome news. What is the plan or the vision going forward? As a president, you must have had some goals in place. I mean, where do you guys see yourselves in the next 12 months?
I mean, I see us growing further, quite frankly. I think we've just passed, we had this goal of getting above 30. Now we're above 30. So our next goal will be to reach 40. I think that we definitely, as Vinita rightly said, we're very diverse in both geographical and in terms of the categories. And I think that just getting in those other categories that we're that we're still passing cross chapter. There's a few categories that we're very keen on bringing in, and I think we're going to cover those categories soon as well.
That's amazing. And my next question again for you, Vinita, and for Ruba as well. We know the backbone of the chapter is run by the vice president, which is yourself, and also a lot of paperwork and the admin work gets done by the treasurer as well. But more than that, Vinita, yourself as a vice president, any systems and tools you have in place that is currently working for you all and making you more productive?
Well, firstly, I would say that I could not have done it without these 2. I mean, I really feel that we were a part of a dream team last term. I think you can never do anything by yourself. You are what your team is. And I was supported by a fantastic and a very inspiring president and an equally inspiring secretary treasurer. And the MC was amazing too. So I think that is number 1, that the team should be really solid. And secondly, in terms of what is going on in BNI right now, which has helped us be a little more effective, I would say currently, like we call it the interesting times fondly. The online version really surpassed my expectations. I think last term, the BNI SOS gave birth to my dream referral, which was actually a collection for the mass in the region. And that was actually a BNI referral. It could not have happened without BNI. So I actually like the online system. I think it's pretty convenient. At the same time, I do feel that face-to-face does bring its warmth, and you are able to establish that personal relationship. I think if there is a possibility of a hybrid version, that would be, I think, very well received, is what I feel.
That's amazing.
Ruba,
anything that you would like to add, Ruba, in terms of any systems or tools that you're using to make your work as a treasurer easy?
I think, like Vinita said, it's having a dream team and having people that work together, and anything you have on your mind, you just pop it in the WhatsApp group and everyone's there and they answer your questions. Supporting each other is very important. So when you work together, you can achieve much more than just working on your own, and just being organized. Sending things and emails on time so they're not delayed, you're not doing it last minute, not running last minute. So just being organized will help, and putting together a system that all 3 of us agree on is also important. So communication is key to running a successful BNI meeting.
That's very interesting. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Amina, my next question is for you. I mean, given these interesting times that Vinita rightly mentioned, we are in the world of online and technology is taking over everyone. Tell us, how do you keep your chapter engaged? Any tips that you would like to share with fellow BNIers watching this video or with other chapters watching this video?
Absolutely. So we did put in place a couple of new measures in this term. One of them is that we have a chapter engagement score. So after each meeting, Vinita sends out on our WhatsApp group a score where she mentions things like camera shy. So it's mentioned the names of the people who turn their camera off, things like that. So we have this engagement score, and we do follow up with people because, you know, when we're at home with our laptop, it's very easy to become a bit comfortable to just kind of wear your pajamas and be a little bit away from the screen. And we've been very sort of strict on that, on saying to people, you know, no, you must dress as if you're coming to a real meeting and present yourself properly and be on camera. And we do kind of make that a priority to make everyone engaged. And then another thing that we do to make sure everyone stays listening, because of course we don't have the energy of the room in the same way. So to make sure that everyone's listening to each other, we started this, I'll show you, we have this little lottery balls thing. So each member's name is on one of these balls. And what we do is for the door prize, we pick one ball from there with a random member's name. And we say, in order to win the door prize, you would need to tell us what was the ask of, and we choose the next name. And they have to tell us what was the ask of the other member that's chosen. And if they don't know what the ask was, then they don't win the door prize. So and nobody wants to be the one who didn't remember the ask. So everyone's listening very, very properly and writing down the asks. So I think those are the kind of couple of things that we have done to keep people engaged. Then we do things like with keeping the CEUs up. One of our members is sending out weekly the list of the podcast numbers that we should all listen to that week. So that helps with the CEUs. We have a social every month. Our events coordinator is really dedicated to having really good socials. So last month we had a quiz night. The month before that we had an escape room. This month we've got bingo coming up. So we make sure that we meet in person as well. So those are the kind of things we do to kind of keep the energy and keep the attention and keep the meeting running really well.
These are very interesting tips and suggestions. I'm sure a lot of the members from other chapters will be taking some of the ideas and executing them. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And my next question would actually be for all of you guys in the room. You'll have been in BNI longer, and especially in your chapter. Tell us what you all love the most in your chapter and any moments that you all treasure till date and would like to share with us. Any of you can get started.
I think that what I love, I will echo what Vinita said, is that it's the quality of the women and men, because we didn't want to limit our growth. So we have opened to men now. We have 7 fantastic men in our chapter as well. So I just want to highlight that we are definitely very inclusive, and we're happy to have men in the chapter as well. So the quality of the people that we're meeting through BNI, and I think everybody in our chapter is very passionate about the career that they've chosen. And that's really nice. It's not people doing a job, it's people who are passionate about what they're doing, and they're really kind of driven. So it's nice to be connected to these type of people. So I would say that's my favorite part of it, is these connections.
Thank you, Amina. What about you, Vinita?
Well, again, going back to what I said in the beginning, when I had started off, I was managing 2 very important roles in my life. One was what I had always wanted to do in my life, which was to start my own jewelry brand. And the second role was that of a mom. And I was finding it very hard at that point to juggle both of them in a way that I would be happy with. But then when I came to BNI, I saw these fantastic mompreneurs, I would say, who were really so inspiring. And I have learned so much just watching them. And of course, now we have amazing men as well in the chapter who are out there supporting. They are, again, I would say they're very passionate about what they do. Most of them are the founders of what they've started, their companies. And I just love being around them in their company. I feel comfortable enough to pick the phone and ask for advice, and I know that I will get it. I actually look forward to our Monday meetings. I mean, the 2 weeks Eid break, I was really missing our BNI meeting. I was like, okay, let's get on with it. Let's be back already. I really like our group. Yeah, I hope that continues, that energy, that passion continues.
That's interesting. And Rupa, again, more than 3 years in the chapter, what do you still love so much about the chapter?
For me, the best thing is long-term relationships. Is the relationships that you build from BNI are forever.
Really, I have several relationships when I first joined the chapter until today. Some people have become very close friends as well to me. So not only business, but you have long-term friends that you can make from long-term relationships that you make from BNI.
That's amazing. Rupa, I'll come back to you again because you have been in BNI longer. My next question is for you again, Rupa. Any tips that you would like to share with the new members in your chapter, and not just only your chapter, but any other chapters? Given these interesting times, members are joining when people are still online and chapters are looking to go back in person. Any tips or advice you would like to share with the new members in the audience?
So don't think that because it's online, you're not really going to benefit. That's not true. Mainly because during COVID has taught us to be so closed up. Everyone's in their own bubble. Everyone's at home alone on their own, doing their thing, doing their work. And still so many people are still working from home in their own bubble. So you need, even if it's online, you need a support group where you can share your ideas. You can share, even if you have a new business adventure that you want to take on, you need to share it with people. You need to get their opinion. You need a support group. So anyone that's still hesitant to join BNI, I really advise everyone to please go ahead, especially at those times where everyone is all just closed up. It's important to go out there, even if people are online, meet new people, share your ideas, and you will definitely find all the support that you need.
That's wonderful. What about yourself, Vinita? What tips or advice would you like to share with the new members?
With the new members, I really feel that the first 90 days are crucial for a new member. So don't wait to dive in, is what I would say. The sooner you get into it, the faster you will get the returns. And it is a two-way relationship. You need to be active if you want others to be active for you. So that would be one thing that I would tell new members. And I also think that we did something which was great, was two closed meetings that we did during this term. So where we did share a lot of figures with the chapter in terms of where we are, in terms of our thank you for closed business, our referral counts, etc., and where we are heading to be beneficial to each other. So I think setting those smart goals and being transparent about it throughout is, I think, another thing that has really helped us progress in every way.
That's amazing. And last but not the least, President Amina, any tips or advice you'd like to share with new members?
I think what I would say to new members is don't be intimidated by, you might come in feeling that you're a bit of the outsider and everyone else knows each other really well, but actually the case is that we all really want to get to know the new members as well. So I would say really go for it with the one-to-ones. I know when I was a new member, I was going for a one-to-one like every day for the first couple of weeks. And I was going to the people's, going to their offices. So where that's possible, I would really encourage the new members to go and meet the other members in person. If you can't meet in person, then definitely just do it on Zoom, but go ahead and have as many one-to-ones as you can at the beginning. So much more than one per week, I would say. Have as many as you can when you're a new member so that you can get that personal relationship with each and every other member of your chapter.
And with that being said, thank you so much to each and every one of you for being here with us, for sharing all your tips, for all your advice. And I wish all of you at the Evergreen chapter much more years of success, enthusiasm, and a lot of things that you'll have achieving. You guys are heading it at the top, and I see you all achieving a lot of more milestones as well. So congratulations on those inductions and up and forward.
Thank you, Raakhi.
Thank you.